Sorry for the delay. I was just got network issue. Before we start, I would like to confirm. Is my voice is audible or is any disturbance with my voice? Can someone please confirm? Akshay, Ananda, Kirtana.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah,
You are
Yeah,
audible.
hi Vish.
thank you. Yeah,
Hi Vishal, clear,
okay.
loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay. We'll wait for 1 minute. I think few people need to join. I think one or two more need to join. By 7:40, we can start it. Before we start, do you have any questions or any doubts regarding the yesterday's class? Anyone not understanding or any questions? Okay, if no questions, then uh, probably I just want to brief what we have discussed in the yesterday's class. It's all about the resource groups and subscriptions. What is your Azure account? How we can create Azure account? Okay, so what are the different kinds of subscriptions we have? Okay, and apart from that, we also seen that resource groups. So resource group is nothing but it's a logical container which doesn't or which is not holding any data. Okay, so resource group is a logical name of the container. So where under the resource groups you can create the actual resources. Correct? Okay. So and also we have seen little bit on the regions, Azure regions. So what is region exactly? Region is nothing but it's a combination of or uh, it's a group of data centers. Okay, so what is the region that you want to select in order to create any resource? So you must know the nearby your data center or your nearby your service. Okay, so it is again depend on your resources that what you want to use it. Correct? All right. Fine. So we have seen resource groups and I have already explained about the favorite bar. So what is the use of the favorite bar? How we can um, add any resources to the favorite bar I have shown you. Just go to the all services, type the service whichever you want, and you can quickly add to the favorite bar. Correct? All right. So now going further, what are the main things that we are going to or I'm going to cover up in the Azure model? All right. So what are the main things that I'm going to cover up is IaaS and PaaS and IaaS. Okay. So why I'm not going to cover up the SaaS model? SaaS model, nothing to do. Okay. So you don't have anything to develop in the SaaS model. So everything is given by your vendor. So directly you can use the vendor. Correct? Just allow me for 1 minute, guys. So in PaaS model, what are the main Azure it is giving when it comes to the SQL database? We have Azure DB model, and also we have the Elastic Pool model, Azure DB or Elastic Pool model, both are same almost. Elastic Pool model. And also managed instance. Okay, all we call it as a PaaS models. In IaaS model, it is same like as on-premise. So I'm going to show you how we can build any virtual machine in the Azure. On top of that, I will show you how we can install the SQL services, and I will connect, and I will also show you that the availability, we can configure the availability between two servers, and then VPN setup also I will show you, and the networking part also, how we will configure the networking in Azure DB. That part also I will cover up. Correct? Yeah. So let's, and also we'll cover up the migration part. Okay, from local machine like on-premise to how we will migrate the databases from on-premise to cloud, and cloud to on-premise, and cloud to cloud. Those parts also will be covered up. There are many topics that we need to discuss in the PaaS model. All right, let's see that. So first we'll go with the Azure DB model. So what exactly the Azure DB model? What exactly the Azure DB model? Let's understand. Okay, in Azure DB model, what will happen? There are some limitations with the Azure DB model. Let's try to follow up me. Okay, so the first point is like here, there is no Windows concept. Okay, there is no Windows. Okay, there is no Windows server in Azure DB model. Okay, in normal, like if I want to build any SQL server, so what I have to do, first of all, I have to build the Windows server. On top of that, I have to install the SQL database, correct? So here in Azure DB model, there is no concept of, in PaaS model, there is no concept of the Windows server. Okay, then it won't support the cross queries as well. What is cross query and all, I will explain later. Just try to follow up me, and you no need to worry on uh, the okay. So, and also you no need to worry on the patches. Okay, you no need to worry on the patches or security fixes. Okay, you no need to worry on the patches and security fixes. That every part will be taken care by the your Azure. Okay, all right. And also there are some limitations. Okay, there are some limitations. We'll see that what are those limitations. Why the limitations they kept in the Azure DB model. Once you enter into the Azure DB model, you will understand. Okay, and then later we have in managed instance. It here also there is no Windows. Okay, in managed instance also there is no Windows. There is no Windows server. Okay, all right, and it will support the cross query. Support the cross query. All right, fine. Let's see it. So these are the main things that Azure DB and managed instance that will follow. Correct? Just observe me closely. All right. Correct? Yeah. So let's go with the first Azure DB model. So in order to create the Azure DB model, or we call it as a single DB or Azure DB. Let's see now. Just go here and type all services, type SQL servers. Okay, type SQL servers. So if you want to use it frequently, you can add it to the favorite bar. Now it came to my favorite bar. Let me move it to the top and just try to click on it. Create SQL server. This one exactly, SQL virtual machines. This one. Okay, this one we need. Just try to click on SQL virtual machines. Yeah, create a SQL server virtual machine. Now it will show you. Okay, yeah, just closely observe me. So we have these many three basically. So these I'm going to cover up. So let's follow the diagram. Okay, the PaaS model, IaaS model, correct? PaaS model and IaaS model. So what is the PaaS model and IaaS model? These two will comes under PaaS model. Okay, SQL databases and say and managed instance. These two comes under PaaS model. This will comes under the IaaS model. All right. Okay, let's go with the single database, SQL database, single database. Here we have elastic pool also. Let's understand. Create it. All right. So what it required? So it required a basic subscription. I am already part of a subscription. So that's the reason why it is not, it by default, it has taken my subscription. Then what I told, in order to create any service in the Azure, any service in the Azure, so the mandatory field is resource group, correct? So now I have to create a resource group for it. So let's go to the resource group. And I told right how the naming convention of the resource group it should be. So whether you want to deploy all your services into production or whether you want to deploy into UAT or development. So keep the naming convention according to your requirements, correct? All right. So now I'm telling that it's a prod and India. Prod India resource group, correct? Yeah. So and database name. What is the database name that I want to put it? So let me create my database name as uh, test database. Okay. All right. So just understand, I need a server name. So what is the server name is nothing but your instance name, correct? Your instance name. So okay. So in single DB model, how it could looks like, let's try to follow me brief closely. Yeah. So in single DB model, this is my single database server. Okay. And inside that single database, single DB model. Okay. I have a instance or database server, DB server. Okay. Under that, I can create a databases. I can create multiple databases. Then why it is naming as a single database? You may get this question. I will try to answer all your questions. Let's try to follow me. Okay. So now it has each database will have its own associated. It has its own associated the hardware guys. Okay. It has its own associated CPU, RAM, memory, everything. Okay. CPU, RAM and memory, everything. We call this one as a DTU. Okay. Database transaction unit. So what is DTU and all? I will tell you in the next. Okay. So now understand, in single DB model, what will happen? You will have a database server. Under the database server, you will create a how many databases you want. You can create those many databases, but each database is associated with it own hardware. Okay. Each database is associated with its own resources. I can say resources. So those resources we call it as a DTU, or we call it as a vCore model. Let's see that. So now what I'm doing now, I'm trying to create a database server. So what is the database server name that I want to keep it? So it is a production, right? So let me keep it something like IN India SQL S SQL 127 123 or something. Here just try to observe. So there are some limitations, or there are some IN SQL. Okay. Yeah. So what is the server name? Okay. This server name, you are supposed to use a unique server name, guys. Okay. If you are, see now, INSQL, the specified server name is already in use, correct? So if any server name is already used in Azure, then you cannot use it for single database server. Okay. The name of the database server, it should be unique. All right. So that's the reason why I'm keeping it as INSQL 123. The server name should not contain the reserved characters. If any reserved characters are something like Azure or something, if I try to use it, it won't allow me to use, because server name should not contain the reserved characters. Azure is a reserved character. Okay. Microsoft Azure, it's a reserved by the Microsoft. So you cannot use again name as Azure. All right. So that's the reason why I'm just trying to keep IN SQL 123. All right. Yeah. So the specified server name is available. Okay. In case it is not available, it will throw error and you cannot continue further. Okay. Your server name can't start or end with hyphens. If I say something like hyphen or something, it will give error. Okay. You are not supposed to keep any hyphens in the start of the name or in end of the name. All right. So then if you want to keep it still, you can use a hyphen and something like SQL or something. That is allowed. Okay. So hyphen in the last, that is not allowed. Okay. So location, where I want to keep my location, it's nothing but a region. So I want to use it in India. India, let me put it as South India, or let me put it as in Central India. Let it be. Okay. So, so in authentication modes, we have mainly three types of authentication modes. What are those? Let's try to observe. Two types basically. So one is SQL authentication, and next is Active Directory authentication, and next one is SQL plus Azure Active Directory authentication. So this Azure Active Directory authentication, this is a separate topic where I'm going to discuss how we can create a Azure Active Directory and how we can map the logins or users. We'll see that part. Okay. Right now, just keep, I'm using SQL authentication. So now you have to give the admin login and the password. Let me put it as admin log as sysadmin, and password you have to give the strong password. You know what is strong password, right? It should be at least it should have 8 characters, and it should follow the alphanumeric, and the it must have one uppercase and lowercase. Okay, same thing you have to give. So if you try to give the any like not the strong password, then definitely it is going to reject you. Let me put it as ABCD. Okay. So see now, it is giving simply the error ABCD. Let me try to put ABCD. Okay. What is telling? Your password must be at least 8 characters in the length. Your password must contain characters from 3 of the following: English uppercase letters, English lowercase letters, and numbers 0 to 9, and non-alphanumeric characters from these are the non-alphanumeric characters that you have to use it. So that should be a strong password, guys. Let me put it as strong password. All right. So let me click on OK. All right. So now what I have done so far, I have created a database. Okay. And then what I have done, I have created a SQL server. Okay. And let's observe compute plus storage. This is very important, guys. Okay. Yeah. So what is the service tier that you want to use it? Correct. Service tier. Let me go ahead first with the DDU based purchasing model. So what is DDU based purchasing model and what is, let's observe briefly. Uh, yeah. Okay. So what is DTU exactly? DTU stands for database transaction unit. Okay. DTU stands for database transaction unit. Combines the compute, memory, IOPS. Okay. DTU combination of your compute, your memory, IOPS. That is nothing but your DTU model. Okay. You cannot increase individual resources such as memory or CPU. However, you can increase the number of DTUs to increase the resources for the Azure database. In order to, suppose I want to increase the DTUs, like suppose if I created with 5 DTUs, then I want to increase to 10 DTUs. Yes, you can do it, but you cannot tell that I want only one CPU and 2 GB RAM and 200 IOPS, something like that. You cannot do it. Okay. So individually you cannot select it. It's a combination of the CPU, memory and IOPS. All right. Let's see now. Okay. So for basic in DTU model, we have 3 types of DTU models. What are those? Basic, standard, premium. Okay. Basic stands for, it is stands for 5 DTUs. Okay. And what it is having, the max data size of, you can go until 2 GB. That is for basic model. All right. So for basic model, you can go until 2 GB. So uptime SLA, service level agreement. So you can have 99.99% always. It will be up and running. Correct? In all the models. Maximum storage size. In DTU model, you can get the maximum storage of 2 GB only. Okay, I can go until 2 GB. That is for basic model, basic DTU model. When it comes to the standard, you can go ahead and you can utilize up to 1 TB. All right. So when it comes to the premium, you can have until 4 TB. Okay, this is the storage limitation in DTU model. If you want to go beyond 4 TB, then you have to go with the next model that is called vCore model. vCore model. We'll see now what is vCore model and all. Let's observe. When it comes to the DTUs, in basic model, you have the max limit of 5 DTUs you can utilize until. Okay. When it comes to the standard, you can have 3000 DTUs. All right. When it comes to the premium model, you can utilize up to 4000 DTUs. So basically what DTU exactly it will stands for, it's a database transaction unit. Okay. Which is nothing but the combination of your CPU, memory and IOPS. correct? Yeah. So IOPS approximately 1 to 4 IOPS per DTU. Here in basic model, you can utilize 1 to 4 IOPS per DTU. When it comes to the same for standard as well. When it comes to the premium, less than 25 IOPS per DTU, correct? So maximum backup retention and all 7 days you can have in basic. When it comes to the premium and standard, there is a backup. You can put it for 35 days. Okay. Yeah. All right. And Kalman store index is not supported in basic model. When it comes to the standard model, it is supported for S3 and all. Okay. So and this is also supported, and in memory OLTP, this is a new feature that is introduced from SQL 2019 onwards. Okay. So if you want to utilize the uh, in memory OLTP function, then what you have to do, you have to go with the premium DTO model, correct? Let's understand. So if you want to go with the basic model, so what is the bill that I'm going to get it for monthly? Let's observe. So it is almost 439 rupees per month. Okay. So 439 rupees per month. Let me calculate it in a hourly wise, how much I am going to get it. Oh, 39. 439 by 30 days, roughly. 439 by 30 days. Almost 14 rupees per month, per day. Okay. By 24 hours. Okay. Almost 0.60, 0.60 paisa per hour. Okay. If I create this service and if I keep it for next 1 hour, so how much bill I'm going to get it? I'm going to get it for 0.60 60 paisa only. All right. So in order to practice anything, so just go with the basic model. Let's observe the standard model. In standard model, what I told, what is the limitation in standard model? You can utilize up to 3000 DTUs. Okay. Let's go ahead and see now. Maximum you can utilize 3000 DTUs, and the storage you can go until 1024 GB. Okay, 1 TB you can go. So when you decrease the DTUs, see now the price is also decreasing. All right. It is a combination of memory, CPU, and IOPS. So if you want to see more information of what is DTU and how this will exponentially will change, okay, so everything you will get it from the Microsoft side. You can refer it here. All right. Yeah. See now, here they are elastic DTUs and DTU model. A database transaction unit represents a blended measure of CPU, memory, and read and writes. IOPS is nothing but input and output per second. That is nothing but read and writes on the storage. Correct? All right. So now, if you want to decrease the, see now, I can go ahead with 200 DTUs and up to 1 TB storage. That is possible. Correct? What is the bill amount that I'm going to get it? 40918 per month. All right. So if I decrease this one, see now the storage also will be decreased. See now, if I go with the 50 DTUs, I cannot use more than 200 GB. So if you want to go with the 1024, then I must have to increase the DTUs as well. So I have to go at least with 100 DTUs, then only I can get the storage of 1 TB. Correct? So these are exponential, guys. Okay, these are dependent on each other. So I can go ahead with the less storage and I can go ahead with the more DTUs also, that is possible. Correct? So I can go ahead with 40 GB and 3000 DTUs. Yes, that is also possible. But price will not change that much exponentially. Correct? So basically DTUs will be more costly than your storage. Okay? DTUs are more costly than your storage. All right. So based on your requirement, just go with the which type of model that is suitable to your requirements. So for practice purpose and all, I'm going to show always with the basic model. Okay. I don't want to go with the standard or premium kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. So in what scenarios you have to use which model, they are clearly giving you. So basic model for less demanding workloads. If your workload is very less and you want to use in the DTU model, then go ahead and use the basic model. Okay. For standard, it is a budget friendly. Okay. Standard model is a budget friendly where you can have the uh, storage and DTUs according to requirement. You can utilize it. So you can go ahead with 20 DTUs, or the minimum is 10 DTUs, guys. In standard model, the minimum is 10 DTUs, and you can go until 250 GB storage. And the maximum is you can go ahead until 3000 DTUs and 1 TB storage. That's what I have discussed in the here. 1 TB maximum storage, and you can go ahead until 3000 DTUs. All right. Okay. So, and when it comes to the premium, high availability and performance. Here, if you go with the premium model, so where you can get the high availability and performance. Okay. So when you read scale out, when you enable the read scale out, so you can have the zone redundant as well, so that your database will not be down at any time. Okay. So what is the maximum DTU count that I can go in the premium model? Can go until 4000 DTUs, and the storage would be 4 TB. Correct. So if you want to go ahead with 100 DTUs or something, yes, you can go ahead. So the minimum DTUs that is starting for premium model is 125 DTUs. Okay. Minimum is 125 and maximum is 4000. Correct. Minimum is 125 and maximum is 4000. So and the storage, if you want to go, you can go until 4 TB. Okay. See now, if you utilize 1750 DTUs, then you can utilize 4 TB of storage. All right. So and see the price, it is almost 6 lakhs. It is roughly estimated 6 lakhs per month. All right. So if you create your database in the DTU model, so you will generate this much of bill to your utilization. Okay. So now I want to go ahead and create my database with the basic model. Let's observe. Apply. Next is networking. So in networking, I'm just going with the default one. Okay. So I will tell you what is the networking, how we will create the networking, how we will assign the networking, what is public IP, what is private IP. We'll discuss in detail in the networking session. Right now, just try to go with the default one. All right. Next, security. Okay. Uh, these are, I'm just going with the default one, default. Next, additional settings. Okay. So for your database, what is the collation that you want to keep it? Okay. You know what is collation and all right. Collation is nothing but it's a language of the database. So what language you want to keep it your database, it's up to you. So by default, if you don't select anything, it will be a default collation, which is into the SQL Latin 1 General CP1 CI AS. That is the default one. So if you want to go ahead with the any other collations, just find the collation and you can select it from the drop down. Okay. See, now I have changed it to some other collection. All right. So I just want to go with the default one. Yeah. Let's try to understand what is maintenance window. So select a preferred maintenance window from the drop down. Please note during a maintenance event, Azure SQL database are fully available and accessible. So even though they are asking you for the maintenance window, but still what Azure Microsoft is saying that, so during the maintenance event, Azure SQL databases are fully available and accessible. But some of the maintenance updates require a failover as Azure takes a SQL DB instance offline for a shorter time to apply some maintenance updates. If the database is part of Elastic Pool, the maintenance configuration of Elastic Pool will be applied. So what they are telling exactly? So your database will be always up and running. It is into 99.99% always your database is up and running. Okay. So in case if they want to do any maintenance for your database or maintenance for your server, so what they do, they will do the failover. Okay, they will do the failover for a shorter time. Okay, so what is that shorter time? 99.99% means 0.01%. Okay, let me calculate in a such a way that 365 days into 99.99%. 0.99, that is almost equal to 365 days. 365 by 99.99, that equal to 3.65 hours. Hardly your database will be down for 3 hours, guys, in the entire year. Okay, so if it reaches above 3.6 hours, then you can go and claim a, and you can say that my service is down for longer than expected, and you can get the refund from the Microsoft. Okay, mostly it won't get down more than this. Okay, so this is for maintenance purpose. Okay, 365 by 99.99, almost, or else 365 into 365 into 5 into 0.01, that is also same. Okay, 3.6 hours, same. Okay, so almost your database will down only for this much time only, 3.65 hours in the entire year. All right. Okay, now so you have to select a proper maintenance window from the default. See, now it has taken 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. How this has been taken? Because I have selected the region as I have selected the region as Central India. Okay, so generally in India, what is the business hours? It will start with it will uh, start with 8 a.m. in the morning and it will end by 5 p.m. Correct? All the government offices, how they will work, mostly they will start by, or any office or something, anything that would be. Okay, it will start by 9 a.m. and it can finish by 5 or 6. Correct? So that's the reason why Microsoft is defined some default value, that is 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. In between only they will do the maintenance activities. All right, and the next one is tags. So I'm not discussed anything on the tags. We can discuss about the tags in later part. Okay, just review and create. All right, it will brief the summary what you have selected, and then it will create the service in the Azure. Now try to observe. So whenever I click on create on the service, it will go through the 3 phases. So one is initializing ISD, we call it as in short form ISD. So what is ISD stands for? Initializing of the service submitting of the service and deployment of the service. So once the installation is uh, initialization of the service is started, then probably it the next phase will go to the submitting state. In submitting state, it will actually submit the request to the Azure portal. So then once the submission is completed and it will check for the validation, if everything is okay, then it will go with the deployment phase. So now you will able to see in the deployment phase. So in deployment phase, actually it is trying to deploy the services. All right. So in case any error or something, it will notify in the notifications. So roughly it will take 1 or 2 minutes to come to deploy any resources in the Azure. So let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes and we'll see, and we'll try to connect to the Azure DB and we'll see. All right. So if any service that you have seen of the timing, you will able to see the timing also. Still how long the deployment is processing. Okay. So why it is taking 2 minutes? Because I have created the resource group on fly, and at the same time I have created the database and SQL Server as well. Correct? All three it has to go. So the reason why it has taken little bit more time. See enough. Uh, so it has created the SQL Server and it has also created the default view. So let's see now. Okay, go to resource. All right. So this is my, so where you can find the SQL databases that you have created are SQL servers. Just type on the SQL servers. Just go to the all services, type SQL servers. This is my SQL servers. Yeah, this is the one that I have created right now. Okay. What is the status of it? It is available. And what is the resource group name? Prod IND. And what is the location? It is into Central India. What is the subscription that it is belongs to? You will able to see the subscription as well. So let's try to click on it. All right. So once you click on it, so you will have the multiple options. We'll see slowly. I will cover up all these options. Now just try to observe overview of the SQL Server. All right. So it is telling you that it is belongs to prod IND resource group. And what is the server admin? Server admin name is sysadmin. What is the status? It is currently available. What is the networking? I haven't configured any networking. I just used the default networking. We'll talk about later. So what is the location? It is into Central India and subscription. And what is the server name that you want to use in order to connect with the Azure DB model? INSQL123 database.windows.net. This is very important, guys. Okay. So for the Azure DB model, the database name or the server name, it will comes always with database.windows.net. Okay, that is the default name. You cannot change this name. Okay, the database.windows.net, you cannot change it. By default, if you create any server, SQL server, the default name of the Azure DB model SQL server is database.windows.net. Okay, all right. So then so and so everything it has shown, and in the drop down it has shown that This is the database that you have created in the this SQL Server. It is showing here. Okay. Yeah. So, and name of the database, and what is the type of it, SQL database, and what is the status currently of it, it is online, and what is the pricing tier it is belongs to, it's a basic DTU model. It is clearly given the you that it belongs to basic DTL model. So if you want to see inside, just click on it. Again, it will show the properties of the databases. These are the properties of the databases. So let me try to connect to my database. Okay. So this is my database, and I have put some default password. Let me try to connect with the password. It won't connect, guys. Okay. So why? So it has given some error. Let's try to read the error. An instance specific error occurred while establishing a connection to the SQL Server. Connection was denied since deny public network access is set to yes. Okay. So what exactly it is telling? So I am not allowed the public network access. So the reason why I'm unable to connect it. Okay. So what I have to do, just go to the database. Okay. I just want to go to the my database SQL Server, and then I have to go to the network settings, and then I have to allow the public network access. Add a virtual network rule. I don't want to add all these things. Okay. Let me try to uh, right. Okay. So add your client IP4 address. So this is my client IP. Okay. So how you can understand that what is client IP, what is public IP? So this is my public IP address, guys. Okay. How are you gonna check it? What's my IP? Okay. This is my public IP address. Okay. Let's try to observe 106.212.234.43. Same thing you are able to see now. 102.212.234.43. Same, correct? So this is a public IP. So this public IP, it will change, guys. It will not remain same. Okay. If I restart my system or something, I have done the restart. So then this public IP address will go off. Okay. Always, what is the constant? Your private IP will be constant always. Your public IP will change. Okay. So in real time world, no one will not use public IPs for the database servers or for the virtual machines or anything. So for the practice purpose, I am just using the public IP. All right. Just I'm using the public IP. Click on save. See now it got successfully changed. Okay. Now just go to the your databases, SQL databases, and it has the databases what I created. I have created only the test database. Let's go with the test. Now let's try to use the query editor. It will connect now. All right. All right. So this is my database. My database name is test. Okay. Inside the database, what you have basically tables, you have views, you have stored procedures, everything, right? So if you want to create any table or something, you can use it. Create table name. Suppose I will use EMP table as EMP number This it's a sample table, integer comma ename as varchar. So varchar of 10 something. Okay. Let me create one sample table. Okay. Now it got created. Let me try to refresh the tables so that I can able to see the tables here. All right. So in order to connect with the your local SSMS or something, yes, from SSMS also you can connect to your Azure DB. How we are going to connect it? I will show you that. So I'm trying to open the SSMS. Yeah. So my SSMS is open now. So how you have to connect? Let's observe. So go to the SQL servers and I have to take the SQL server name, correct? This is the server name. And what is the authentication? SQL authentication. What is the account name? sysadmin and followed by the password. Right. See now I'm able to connect to my Azure server. This is my Azure SQL database server. Inside that I have a Azure DB, correct? So if I want to anything that I want to create any database here, yes, I can create database from here as well. So if I create any database from here, it will go and create in the Azure as well. See now I can able to. It is same like, so once you connected, so you are maybe all are very familiar with the management studio, right? So the best way you can utilize it and you can try to uh, create your database from management studio as well. Okay, so let me create one more database called test2. Click on OK. So if I don't use anything, so it will by default it will go to the standard. Okay, so if you want you can mention the pricing tier as well. Let's observe. If I haven't provided anything, I just have uh, created the database. It is still creating in the backend. Let it run. Still it is running in the backend. Let it run. You can also view from the SQL databases. So right now only I have one database. If I can refresh it, probably I can able to see the newly created database as well. Why it is taking time? Because let me try to refresh it. SQL servers inside the SQL servers databases. Let me go to the databases. See now, okay, it is into standard tier. I told right. If you don't select any uh, pricing tier model, so then by default it will go to the general purpose. All right. So in SQL databases also you will able to see now. So to refresh and all, it will take some time, guys. Okay, you have to wait for that. So otherwise you have to refresh it for multiple times so that you will able to see the their newly created objects, whatever you have created newly, those object will be replicated. It will take some time. All right. So far any doubts, guys? Anyone having any doubts? Okay. So can you be on hold for 1 minute, please? I think that's it for today, guys. If no questions, just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. I think Shanmugh need to join and he want to discuss one topic with us. Just be and wait. Okay. So going further, I'm going to show you tomorrow. So what is the database properties, how we can check the other options. Okay. We will go one by one. Hello,
Hello.
Ashan. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. Yes, Vishal. Thank you. And guys, this is the today's one is the last demo session. No more demo sessions from tomorrow onwards. So we'll share a new meeting link for the registered students. Okay. So if you confirm me by tomorrow, not tomorrow evening, okay, try to confirm me by tomorrow afternoon so that I'll have a time to share the meeting links and all. So we have already discussed in 3 sessions, I guess, in the last week, and yesterday, today, 2 more complete sessions. So total 5 sessions we discussed. So please complete your registration process to proceed further. Okay, so that you get an idea. Okay, and the timings are fixed as we discussed, 7:30 to 9 every day, Monday to Friday. So once you complete the registration process and all, I'll send you the new meeting link. Okay. So this is the plan, guys, and please confirm me by tomorrow afternoon. Those who have already completed, so no issues for them, but others, okay, others. So complete the registration process as early as possible by tomorrow afternoon, so that we'll share the new meeting link, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Shanmugh, you can share your number and along with the email ID
Yes.
if they want to
Yes.
reach you.
Yes. So I'm sharing the number, guys. So this is my number 140, and you can send an email to sourceuniversity@gmail.com. Okay. So you can reach me to this number and with the country code +91. Okay. So +919902590140. So this is my number. I hope everyone have my number. Okay. If not, copy my number and confirm me by tomorrow afternoon, guys. It's very important. Okay. Yeah. Anything to discuss, Vishal?
Nothing. We can wind up.
Okay, done. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Okay, we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you all.